Hello, my name is Madison Lowry, and today I'm here to talk about the West Virginia teachers' strike of 2018. On February 22nd, 2018, all teachers across West Virginia went on a work stoppage or strike that lasted 9 school days, so 13 days total. There were many reasons for this strike. West Virginia was the 48th state for pay, which means the teachers were getting paid way less than the national averages. On top of this, changes were made to PEIA, which is the insurance that teachers are covered by, that made the entire program just very awful. Among these changes that were made to the insurance company, there was a switch in the insurance coverage itself. Instead of paying 80-20, it made it to 60-40, meaning teachers had to pay tons more out of pocket than they would have to originally. This made a teacher at Stonewall Jackson Middle School end up paying $80 for a prescription that used to only cost him $8. Then PEIA decided to start a program called Go 365. This program would require teachers to wear a Fitbit-like device that would track their steps. Each month, there would be a predetermined amount of steps. If someone did not meet that number, they were fined $25 for that month. Another PEIA program was called Healthy Tomorrows, which was an even more invasive and disrespectful program than Go 365 was. Healthy Tomorrows made it to where the public employees had to go to a physician to do a series of check-ins that measured things like waist size, blood pressure, weight, and cholesterol. If they did not meet the standards, they were forced to pay $500 in addition to their deductible for the visit that they were required to take. The truth is that the strike was a long time in the making and was anything but spontaneous, said Tika McGuffin Tony, a teacher at Oak Hill High School. The teachers wanted a 5% pay raise for all West Virginia teachers, bus drivers, and other service personnel. They wanted all of the issues of PEIA fixed. This movement was and is about respect, about quality of life, and about love, said Jessica Salthia, a teacher at Spring Mills High School. 55 Strong is not just a rallying cry for West Virginia teachers. It is a demand for justice and for respect of working families throughout the nation, Tika McGuffin Tony said. The strike itself took weeks of debating back and forth on what was the best options for teachers and students alike. Across the week of February 6, 2018, every state employee in West Virginia was polled about the strike. In Mingo County, 433 out of 511 participating employees voted to go for the strike. They voted in favor of the strike. And this is about 85% of those participating employees. Then, on Saturday the 17th, during a rally at the Capitol, a work stoppage for February the 22nd and 23rd was announced, and that was the beginning of the 2018 teachers' strike. Nearly 20,000 people walked out. They rallied and gathered on the Capitol steps and chanted no matter what the weather conditions were. Some days it was pouring the rain, and on another it was 19 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing. Yet the teachers stayed and they persevered. While there, teachers were dismissed, laughed at, and even avoided entirely. Some senators, who are meant to hear the people that they are representing, even refused to speak to these teachers. But I cannot lie. Each day was more difficult than the previous one. A day of teaching paled in comparison to the amount of energy and effort I expended as an activist on the front line at the Capitol. The daily rigors were beginning to take their toll on my body by the first full week's end. I barely had a voice left. I looked and felt haggard, and I had lost almost 10 pounds from the constant exercising and lack of caloric intake, said Perry Casto, a teacher of Explore Academy. Then, on March the 1st, Governor Justice brought up a proposal saying PEIA would be frozen. Frozen, not fixed. Teachers would receive a 5% pay increase, which is about $2,000 per teacher. State employees would get a 3% pay increase. A task force would be created to fund teacher insurance while the strike was occurring, and the bills that were a factor of the strike, like the 60-40 premiums bill, would be eliminated. This proposition then went to be voted on. Senate President Carmichael said and made it a point to only approve a 4% pay raise, so the teachers stayed on strike. These teachers stayed on strike not just because of a 1% difference, but it's the principle behind the 1%. The disrespect that is just blatant and obvious in the only approving 4% instead of the promised 5% is just that, blatantly disrespectful, and they did not need to stand for that any longer. 13 days after the strike began, it ended with teachers getting the 5% pay raise that they were promised, but it was split up to 3% at first, and then 1% the next year, and then 1% the year after that. However, more came out of the strike than just West Virginia teachers receiving their win. It influenced others across the country to stand up and to speak out. Teachers in states like Kentucky, Arizona, Oklahoma, Colorado, and other places across the nation were influenced by West Virginia to fight for what is right. Even at a more local level, this strike taught students perseverance. It taught us to never back down, to keep going when the going gets tough. It taught us to not be silent. We have a voice, and I intend to use mine. Thanks to the teachers in West Virginia, I've learned how to do more than just whisper. I've learned how to speak up loud and speak up proud for what I believe in, and to speak up for those people who haven't quite learned to raise their voice yet. The West Virginia teachers spoke up for me, and I intend to use my voice to repay that favor. Thank you for listening to me speak about the West Virginia teacher strike of 2018 today. Remember, you are more than just a whisper.